So far we have looked at two different types of factoring. We've looked at how to bring out a greatest common factor, so how to divide out the biggest number, and we've looked at factor by grouping, so cutting a problem in half and doing two little GCF problems. What we're going to look at today is kind of the last skill we need for doing long, in-depth factoring trinomials. And we're going to focus on what I call magic numbers and what I call naked factoring. Okay, I'll explain when I get to that why I call it naked factoring. So magic numbers are just going to be numbers that meet a certain requirement. And that requirement is going to be that they multiply to some top value and add to some middle value. Okay, so we'll get our top value by multiplying A and C. We'll get our middle value by adding to B. And you'll see from this little chart, if our top value is positive, then our bottom values will match the sign that's in the middle. Okay, here it's negative, so we have negative and negative. So top number positive means match the sign in the bottom. If our top number is a negative, then we have to have one of each no matter what. So for this first example, don't worry about where the 6 and 5 came from. I'm just going to give them to you to begin with. And I look at this and I notice my top number is positive. Okay, so it's a positive and my bottom number is a positive, meaning everything I'm working with is a positive. And I could go to my calculator and type in y equals 6 divided by x. I could look at the table and I can see all the possible values, or I can use mental math. Okay, it could be positive 1 and positive 6, because remember, we're trying to multiply to 6. So right now I'm ignoring the 5. I'm just thinking what multiplies to 6. 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and that's it. So once I have that list of values, now I can focus on this plus 5. And I can say, okay, I have all my choices. Which choice adds to 5? Positive 2 and positive 3. So those are the magic numbers. They meet my requirements. They multiply to 6 and they add to 5. Okay, here's another one. This time you'll notice my top number is positive, but my bottom number is negative. So both my numbers will be a negative. Okay, so a negative and a negative. The only things that multiply to positive 7 are negative 1 and negative 7, or positive 1 and positive 7. We already said that since we need a negative 8, my signs have to both be negative. So negative 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. Negative 1 plus negative 7 is negative 8. That's what I want. So those are my magic numbers. Here is kind of that third possibility where my top value is negative, meaning I automatically have to have a positive number and a negative for both of these. These problems are very similar, but notice for this first one, I have a positive 1 underneath, and the second one has a negative 1. All I'm going to do to start is write down what multiplies to 20. So I know there could be 1 and 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, and that's everything. Okay, so the way I have this set up, I'm trying to get to a positive 1. 1 and 20 are going to be too far apart. 2 and 10 are going to be too far apart. So I need to play with the 4 and 5. If I have a positive 4 and a minus 5, I will get positive 1 when I add them. 4, well, actually, no, I won't. 4 and negative 5, if I add those, gives me negative 1, which is not what I want. That's what I want over here. So I found those. Okay, so I've solved that problem. If you have the right number, so I needed a 1, but my signs were wrong. I got negative 1. I need a positive 1. All I have to do is switch their signs. So I'm going to go positive 5 and negative 4. That pairing will give me a positive 1. Okay. So always double check. You notice I almost got it wrong. Okay, 5 times negative 4 gives me negative 20. 5 plus negative 4 gives me 1. Over here, 4 times negative 5 gives me negative 20. 4 plus negative 5 gives me negative 1, so we're good. Okay, let's look at, I think one more. We might have one more after this, I don't know. So positive 3, the only way to multiply 3 is 1 times 3. I want to add to 4. Okay, well, if I just make both of these positive, there we go. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4, so we're good. Those are our magic numbers. Over here, to get negative 3, I could have 1 and negative 3, 3 and negative 1. Those are the only possibilities. I want to add to negative 2. Since this number's negative, I need the bigger number to be negative. So this will be 1 and negative 3. If you weren't sure on this one, you could always go and add 1 and negative 3 or 3 and negative 1. I needed the negative 2, so 1 and negative 3 was my right setup. Okay, last one of these. For 21, the only things that multiply to 21 are 1 and 21, negative 1, negative 21, 3, 7, negative 3, negative 7. That's all the possibilities. I need to add to negative 10. Okay, so I know it's not going to be any of these positives. And I need to be negative 10, so there is my pairing. Negative 3, negative 7. And for this last one, we have a lot of things that multiply to 72. 1 and 72, 2 and 36. I'm just going to list them all. 3 and 24, 4 and 18, 6 and 12, 8 and 9. Those are all the numbers that multiply to 72. My goal is to be able to add to 1, meaning my numbers have to be within 1 of each other. So it rules out all of these because they are further apart than just 1. Okay, so I need an 8 and a 9, and I need to figure out the signs that'll give me 1. Okay, well, if I have a negative 8 and a positive 9, that will add to 1, but it will also multiply to negative 72. Okay, so that is the correct pairing on that one. Okay, so naked factoring. Naked factoring is going to be any time we are working with a problem that looks something like this, where There is nothing in front of x squared. That's why I call it naked. We like naked factoring because it's easiest when it's naked. Next week, we'll deal with clothed factoring, or factoring that has a number up front, and it requires a lot of work. So naked factoring, naked makes it easy. Rainbow factoring makes it more difficult. So these are the steps for naked factoring. You'll have a trinomial where your leading value is 1. So remember, I said that looks like there's nothing up front. You just have x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, the front term is quote-unquote naked. And all we have to do is find our magic numbers, set up our answer, and that's it. We'll be done. I don't need to do this long process. We'll worry about the long process next week. Okay, so I need to figure out my magic numbers. That's my first step. Okay, I'm still going to draw this kind of rainbow shape. That's how I figure out that positive 24 goes up at the top of my chart. Okay, this is like a 1. 1 times 24 is just 24. Okay, but it is naked. This value that is quote-unquote under the rainbow, okay, well, think of this pointy image as a pointy rainbow. The 10 goes under it. So now I'm going to figure out my magic numbers. Okay, I could be 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. The only pairing that could make 10 would be 2 and 12 or 4 and 6. But everything has to be positive, right? Because positive and positive, everything's positive. So my magic numbers are going to be 4 and 6. Okay. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 plus 6 is 10. So my factors are literally going to be x plus 4 and x plus 6. That's it. I don't have to do any more work. I don't need to do a long process. Naked factoring, you find your numbers and that's it. Find your magic numbers and your factors are there. That's it. Okay, on this one, when I go to find my numbers, I want to multiply to 25, but add to negative 10. So again, I have a positive up top, so my signs will be the same, and they're going to both be negative. So I could have negative 1, negative 25, negative 5, negative 5. Those are my options. Well, if I want negative 10, those are the numbers I need. And again, if you want to check it, negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. So my answers are x minus 5 and x minus 5. You might also see that as x minus 5 squared, since they're the same thing. Both are right. Okay, let's look at this one. So for this one, I want something that multiplies to negative 24, but adds to 2. Okay. Top value is negative, so I know my signs have to be one of each, a positive and a negative. Okay. It could be some combination of 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. I need to get to a 2. These are too far apart, too far apart, too far apart. Okay, 4 and 6 are within 2 of each other, but I need to figure out which one's positive and which one's negative. Okay, so I want a positive 2. Since this is positive, the bigger number is positive, so 6 is positive. So negative 4 plus 6 does give me positive 2. Negative 4 times 6 does give me negative 24. So I have x minus 4 and x plus 6. Remember, you can be using your calculator. You would go to y equals, and in this case, you would do negative 24 over x, since it's our top number here. And then you would hit second graph, which would take you to the table of values, which would look like this. And it would give you all the things that multiply, and then you would just have to do the adding in your head. If you want more help with that, I can help you one-on-one. Okay, on this one, we want to multiply to 9, add to negative 6. Okay, well, it's either 1 and 9 or 3 and 3. Since my 6 is negative, it's going to be negative 3 and negative 3. So x minus 3, x minus 3. Or, like I said before, x minus 3 squared. Okay, just a few more practice examples. So positive 8, positive 6, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. That's all the things that multiply to 8. I want to add to 6. Okay, well, positive 2, positive 4 makes 6. X plus 2, x plus 4. And I just realized I made the exact same mistake you might have made. If you look at our original problem, they're n's. So if you want this to show up as being marked correct, you actually have to put in n plus 2 and n plus 4. I don't really care, but MathSpace and other things are a little pickier. And on we go. So I want to multiply to 90, add to 19. Okay, 1 and 90, 2 and 45. Some of you might not need to keep doing this whole process, and that's fine. It's really up to you. Let's see. 4 doesn't go in. 5 and 18, I think. 6 and 15, 9 and 10. And again, I want positive 19. It's going to be positive 9, positive 10. So n plus 9, n plus 10. Again, you can have it reversed. You could have n plus 10 or n plus 9. Same thing. And last but not least, I want to multiply to 18, add to negative 9, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. That's everything that multiplies to 18. My sign underneath is negative, so all these would have to be negatives. And I want to add to negative 9. Has to be negative 3 and negative 6. So r minus 3, r minus 6. And that's it. Naked factoring is that easy. It's easy when it's naked. Find your magic numbers, write your answer, and you're done. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.